Hello everybody, I'm James Ever of The Good, The Meh, and The Ugly. And here is my spoiler-free review of Materialists. This film follows a New York City matchmaker who finds herself torn between her perfect match and her imperfect ex. My overall thoughts for this film is that I really liked it. This entire movie feels like it comes to this place of such authenticity, and so much of it is so vulnerable, like the director just expressing her feelings through these stories and these characters and what's going on throughout the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now moving on to the good. What I like about the film, what I thought was done well. The story and script in here are great. The script moves at its own pace. It's still tight and concise, but it still lets scenes breathe and lets these characters develop throughout the movie. The dialogue is really good in here. It's really clear what these characters are thinking and feeling in these moments, but it's still subtle enough to where it's never too incredibly obvious. And the story in here is really entertaining. It can still ask important questions and very serious topics, but it can still be a lot of fun and a great time. Another good thing about the movie is the cast and direction. The three leads in here are great. Dakota Johnson brings his character's personality really on screen to life. She really clearly and vividly portrays this person that is flawed and is not perfect, but she's still a really likable protagonist and you can really root for her. Pedro Pascal is very good in here. He sells this rich man persona very well. He's very suave, very charming, very endearing, but when he needs to turn on that serious, more emotional moments, he can do it like that. And I think the biggest standout of this movie is Chris Evans. I think this is his best performance in his career by probably a wide margin. He has these big monologues throughout the movie, and he has to carry those scenes on his back by himself, and he does that with ease. He brings this still excitement and grandeur to this character, but he's not too down to earth and not too calm. He brings this really good balance of exciting and realistic. The director in here, Celine Song, who also made Past Lives from a couple years back, she's batting 1,000 for me right now. She is 2 for 2. I think her films are both fantastic. And I think one thing she really does well is strip these actors down to their core and get some of their best work easily out of them. She knows how to find their skills and find what makes them good and brings that to times 10. She's also very good at controlling the camera and maximizing the color in her scenes, where when a character is anxious or panicky, the camera will spin around and be panicky, and she uses colors to sometimes foreshadow things later in the movie and show characters' dynamics through the color. They're in sync with the mood and feel of that scene. And then moving on to the meh, what I thought was just alright. The first act I think is a little bit clunky. It moves at a bit of a slower pace in the second and third act and has a lot of build-up and a lot of setup, which is still good, but there's not a lot of transition to move between this scene to this scene. It's very rapid fire. The editing is very quick. I feel like if there was a little bit more smoothness and flow to these scenes, it would have worked about as well as the second and third act. And then moving on to the ugly. What I didn't like about the film, what I thought was done poorly. This is really a nitpick because I was a big fan of this movie, but if I had to pick something that was somewhat negative, there's a character that's introduced very early on that some characters feel very strongly about them, but we never get that many reasons why they feel this way about him. I feel like if there was more background and flashbacks with this character, it would have made some of the scenes with them later in the movie a lot more meaningful and have more depth and layers to it. But as a whole, I loved the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I'd give it a 9 out of 10, and thank you for watching the good, the meh, and the ugly. Bye-bye.